Well, hello, everyone. I'm Gary Gatto. Welcome to P1 coverage, or P1 broadcasting coverage. I got to get used to saying that. In cooperation with FTN of round 10 of the inaugural season of the ISRA Xfinity Series, we come to you today, or tonight rather. Well, it's today in the sim, but it's tonight from wherever you're probably watching this more than likely. Michigan International Speedway in the Irish Hills there, right in the center kind of the state, just about center south portion. But joining me in the booth, just fresh off of not so happy of a run at the Bull Ring at Iowa in the Indy cars. But he'll sit here and recover and call what was probably, I think, as we've decided, our favorite series of the week. When we get to bring the ISRA action to you guys, because the action is always on the track and very little of it's under pacing. Welcome, Mark.
Yeah, man, it's good to be here. Iowa wasn't all bad, Gary. We gotta give a shout out to the Indy Alliance boys, Kevin, Rashad, Seb, Jesper, Sam. Just what a rocket ship we had running up front. Just got a little bit of bad luck in a pit cycle, and that happens. That's racing.
Yep.
We'll show up next week, and hopefully we don't get the caution while you're sitting on pit road for your scheduled service. So. No worries there. Looking forward to a fun one here tonight, though. Mike Rigney's rigged up yet another classic ISRA battle, and you are absolutely right. This is, without a doubt, one of the most fun series we call 100 Lapper. The word tonight is spelled GAS. That's going to be gas, fuel, petrol, whatever you want to call it. Who can save it? Who is not going to be able to save it? I'm told that the fuel run is going to be 30 laps if you just run normal pace. I think we can all work out what it's going to take to make 100 in 2 stops. So look forward to some guys maybe saving some fuel. The draft here highly effective. Setup looks like it's a lot of fun, and we got Stretch Armstrong on provisional pole at the moment. And
we already have a victim of the heat wave that's kind of coming through the western part of the country. Pepto Joe says the AC is out in his house, so he is not racing tonight. The computer has overheated, so he has dropped out. So that is a shame. He is among the points leaders, and let's bring that into focus right now. The points leader with about after this race, we only have 4 races to go. And just to be clear, the schedule in the description is not correct, but after here we have Vegas, Darlington, and not Nashville, Homestead, and Talladega. But today, here are the points coming into today. Michael Goodman with a 5-point lead over Sam Crow. Crow with a 4-point lead over Wagner. That is your top 3. Now, according to the host with the most, Mike Rigney, he has said that this now includes the drop weeks. So I'm not sure how that impacts the points right now, but it looks pretty much the same as it did last week with Pepto Joe there in 4th. Unfortunately, he's going to lose out to Lionel Callisto, I believe, who is in the lineup. And we have just gone. We've just got official for qualifications, so we will finish up here. Rigney, Hearn, Hayes, Evans, and Rick D, the top 10. With Evans, the big charger there, as he is winner for the last 6. And let's get the starting lineup in, shall we? Let's get this.
Ready?
Yeah.
You ready, Gary?
Yeah, let's get the stuff off the screen and let's do this. And you can go right ahead if you like.
Hey, I tell you what, on the pole with a lap of 181.064 miles an hour, it's going to be the number 29 of Pat Stretch Armstrong. Outside pole, Michael Goodman in the 28, just 25 thousandths of a second off. He'll start outside. 3rd, Evan Clapper. 4th, Justin Kirby. That'll be your 2nd row. Rick D is going to be 5th, flanked by Richie Hearn in 6th. Host with the most, Mike Rigney, starts the 00 in 7th. Jake Euler will be 8th. Row 5, Say Hey Lewis Hayes and Big John Von Bareilles. And I managed to lose it.
Uh-oh.
No worries. 11th, Sam Crow. 12th, Ryan Grandin. The next row made up of Lionel Callisto and Greg Evans. Pepto Joe Flanagan not going to take the start here. Not going to take the start here. Matt Wagner, and then shotgun on the field, Hugo Gallows. So 17 cars signed in for what promises to be a pretty strategic affair in my estimation, Mr. Gotze.
Yeah, and two back there in row 7, Callisto and Evans. I expect to see them moving up in the field together.
Well, they didn't take time, and neither did. They did not take time. Neither did
Wagner.
Neither did Wagner. Now Wagner is here, and the reason I know he's here is because my voice chat, which is still on from the race earlier today, just went absolutely nuts with Matty Wagner. So we know that the stock car race is here, and so look for him to be coming from the back. There's all kinds of different thoughts on how to attack this. Do you go to the back? Do you save gas? Do you go fast? Try to stay out front. Hope for a yellow. What do you do? And frankly, I don't know that we can count on a yellow here today, Gary, as they pull onto the backstretch.
Yeah, you know what? Ironically, when we ran the trucks here last, we had 7 cautions. That was the most cautions we had in league history, the ISRA league history, not just the Xfinity Series, but the trucks as well. And you would think a place like this would have, less cautions of that because it's nice, big, and wide open spaces. But that's how the reality is. The last time we were here in the trucks, we had the most cautions here. So we shall see how this pans out.
Yeah, and look, I mean, weather here just absolutely gorgeous. 28C. Just gorgeous weather
green flag,
for today's event. We're going to get the green flag.
We are green.
Stretch Armstrong is going to get the jump over Evan Clapper. Michael Goodman will slide into third. The high side is not going to be preferred here early. Look for guys to migrate up into the Harry Gant groove as the tires fade. But for right now, right around the bottom is where you want to be. They storm down the backstretch for the first time, already all over the track, and you can get 3 and 4 wide here. It's pretty wide, for sure. Down into turn 3 now. Stretch Armstrong leads them.
Jake Euler way up in the gray, going through 3 and 4.
You know, talking to him pre-race, I got to believe that might be kind of a planned move.
Okay, all right.
I think, he was one of the guys I talked to Lionel Callisto, talked to Justin Kirby. There's definitely some caginess that's going to happen with fuel here. Now, is it going to be, running around in the back half throttle and way off the pace? I don't think that's going to be the ticket. But there's definitely something to be said for staying in the back and kind of letting the draft suck you along in terms of saving gas. And maybe that's exactly what Jake Euler's doing, because he's back up to speed now, just kind of hanging out right behind Brian Grandin in 14th and 15th there. Hugo Gallows brings up the rear. He's 16th. Stock car ace Matty Wagner already up to 10th. He's right behind Mike Rigney. So we're already seeing some movers and shakers go through here too.
Oh, Brian Graydon almost gets side checked there a little bit, I think, by Big John, but a little evasive action kept him off one another.
Yep, and that shot Sam Crow right past them. He's going to dive to the bottom of the stock car race, looking for a spot. That's 10th and 11th. The front kind of shaking out now. Michael Goodman to the lead, Stretch Armstrong second, Clapper third. The front two or three, very, very easy in line. Although Richie Hearn just ran the fastest lap of the race, and he is knocking on the door of Evan Clapper as they get off of turn 2. Close in attendance is Rick D. He's going to go to the bottom of Richie Hearn. Hearn's going to climb to the. Hearn's going to climb to the top side. What's that?
Oh, one of my overlays decided it didn't want to pop up, and now it's covering everything up. Anyways, let's get back into this thing.
No worries. So the fight right now is third, fourth, and fifth. Evan Clapper there's in a hornet's nest. He's got Rick D to the bottom. He's got Richie Hearn trying to pass him on the top. He's trying to hold it kind of in the middle in his number 44 machine. And I think Rick D's going to just back out of that and get in the line. I don't think he wants to cook his tires this early. How many sets of tires they got available anyways? Is this one of those where they
let's bring you in the rule set here. It's 4 sets of tires, 1 in the car, 3 in the pits. This is going to be a 200-mile race, 200 miles, 100 laps, 2-mile oval here. One fast repair, one fast repair. Lucky dog, wave around are on. There is no restart zone to worry about. One green-white checker attempt, which we've never attempted a green-white checker in league history, I believe. And the pit road speed limit is at 55 miles an hour.
Tell you what, Richie Hearn's riding a rocket right now. He just drove around the outside of Stretch Armstrong. He's going to be second. He set the fastest lap 3 laps ago, and he is flying, absolutely flying around here. Richie Hearn, 40.137 was his fast laps, 187 miles an hour and change, I believe. But he's coming right to the back now. Michael Goodman as they head off into turn 1. Richie now looks to the outside. Is he going to try to cross him up? Nope. He's going to go right to the back of Goodman. He's going to push him down to the backstretch, Gary. What's going to happen when they get to turn 3?
Now, Goodman might go up the racetrack if he doesn't get off him. No, Hearn's going to stay high.
And that's been Richie's MO early in this race. He's made a lot of moves to that high side. Let's see if he tries to cross him up or if he's willing to just bump draft, it appears. Michael Goodman. See if we can't go on board Richie Hearn. Yeah, just how close he is to the rear bumper, how close he gets down the back straight. It's almost like he doesn't want to pass him now. He's got to him, but he doesn't want to pass him. See, watch. He's going to pull right up here and just kind of listen to the car a little bit. You hear that lift?
Mm-hmm.
That's Richie Hearn.
Oh, and he's blinking.
Yeah, well, I hope the cat hasn't chewed through the cord again. Either way.
Oh, here's Rick D down low.
Rick D going to try to take it to the bottom of Richie Hearn as they head off into turn 1. But that's Richie Hearn saving gas. That's how you save fuel in any racing car. You pull right up to the car in front, let him pull you along, lift off the accelerator. Best way to make gas mileage. No fuel knobs in these cars, so these guys can't change the mix.
And move Rick D up to second. Now Hearn back to third. Goodman, your points leader, is the race leader.
But how much fuel is he burning sitting out there doing that?
You know, we'll find out here probably in about, we're coming to lap 10 now. We'll see who's going to be doing the 2-stop, who's doing a 3-stop. Is anyone going to go 25, 25, 25 to go home after that point? Or are we going to have people that are going to do 33, 33, 33 and go home?
Well, it has to be. I think the race-winning strategy has to be the 2-stop. I don't think you're going to be able to go fast enough to break away from this. Kind of like an IndyCar race here. I don't think you're going to be able to go fast enough to break away from the pack, really. You're going to have to try to save gas, and the best place to do that is in the pack. It's not leading it. Michael Goodman inching away from Rick D and Richie Hearn. Lionel Callisto now up to 4th. Evan Clapper back to 5th. That's your top 5. But, you know, these guys, you know, he can get out there, but he's burning a lot of fuel to do it.
Watching Evan Clapper right now, leading a group that has Say Hey Lewis Hayes on the high side. Right beneath Say Hey Hayes is our pole sitter. Armstrong Stretch has moved, fallen back to 6th now.
You know, and again, I got to believe some of this is pre-planned and deliberate.
Yeah.
Wagner and Euler going to the back. I can tell you who's not saving anything. It's going to be Lionel Callisto. Well, Goodman's not saying anything.
Yeah, you're right. Callisto is there. He just moved up to 4th.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's saved a drop of fuel in his ISRA career, and he's showing it to us now. And one has to wonder, if we watch Lionel Callisto, is he drifting the car through the corners yet?
And Lionel is the Truck Series champion from season 1 earlier this year. We're going to go 3 wide through corner 3 and 4. Seems to be a couple distinct groups. We have the leader all by himself pulling away. Then we have this middle group, and then we have this group of 5 kind of at the rear of the field.
Yeah, and those 5 at the rear of the field, you got to believe they've committed. Richie Hearn way up against the wall there.
Oh,
kind of. I don't know if he just kind of overdrove the corner, or if that was pre-planned to kind of get out of the way of the snarl that's around him. We'll see. He's consistently been one of the highest, if not the highest car on the racetrack. We see Say Hey Lewis Hayes going underneath the former Indianapolis 500 starter, and he's going to fall into the clutches of Sam Crow and Greg Evans. Evans has not stormed to the front as one thought he might. Again, probably playing that fuel game I was talking about.
well, thanks for joining us tonight. If you're enjoying P1's coverage of the ISRA Xfinity Series on FTN and you respect the stream, please do us all. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you miss out on future P1 and FTN iRacing broadcasts. We're already kind of looking at the formulation of the next season of the ISRA, which I understand is going to be back to trucks. And we should probably see that season kick off approximately August 19th, give or take. So we'll have the Xfinity finale at Talladega, which Murph will not be here with us. But I will be joined by Antonio Estrada, who does the IIS coverage with me on Saturdays. He'll be he will be your pinch hitter for the finale at Talladega. But then 2 weeks later, on the 19th, we'll pick back up with the trucks. We don't know the schedule yet, but I would expect we'll hear something relatively soon. So, again,
it's good to know you
blinks. Wow.
It's good to know that you went and found somebody competent to stand in my stead there while I'm out. But
well, if I need someone good, I go find El Patron. I find the boss. The boss knows.
Yes, sir. Antonio Estrada, fabulous open wheel driver. I tend to think he would enjoy this too. The nature of the racing here, very, very thoughtful. Almost, I think I've described it at times as cerebral.
There's Clapper on the high side of Armstrong. Armstrong has moved back up to the front, side by side, off the 3 and 4. Yeah, this is a lot more. Almost a little bit of a side check there. But this is a lot more cerebral stock car racing going on here. That is an excellent way of putting it.
This is a thinking man's racing league, and we're seeing 16 thinking men go about it. That's about as close. That side check there, they were trying to side draft each other, got a little bit too close for comfort, and instantly knew it, pulled the cars apart, so no net code occurred, and we race on. If you were watching another league or even an official broadcast, they wouldn't have done that, and you probably would have had 2 wrecked race cars. But just very gentlemanly, very thoughtful. This is more about using your brain than who's the absolute quickest guy. 3 wide in the back. Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Matty Wagner, and I believe Jake Euler for 12th, 13th, and 14th. Just caught a glimpse of that.
Yeah, we just got the camera on that, and looks like Say Hey Hayes has gone to the back. I don't know if that is he burned up the tires early just by staying up front, or this is a strategic call. He does work with teammates. Watching Matt Wagner now, who is one of the top 3 in the points. He has been hovering right around this lower portion of the top, between top 10 and top 16.
Yeah, and don't count out Big John and Say Hey Lewis Hayes and Hugo Gallows.
No. Not even Hugo for that matter. I mean, all these guys have at one time or another in either this league or in the truck league spent time in the top 10 in the points. So I figure anytime you spend top 10 in the points, you got to have an idea of what you're doing out there.
Oh, for sure. And here's the thing. I mean, you know, we're 20 laps in, and we're coming to get lap 20. You know, these guys have already started thinking. You know, half these guys, Lionheart IndyCar guys, and IndyCar drivers start saving fuel the moment they set
They set the green flag, yes. Actually, the moment the engine starts, actually.
The moment the engine starts, you're twisting the fuel knob and thinking about how do I squeeze every tenth of a gallon out of this thing. Well, once you're wired that way, it never stops. And, you know, you got to believe, you know, Richie Hearn, I think, drove up there, saw what it was going to take to get up there, and then immediately went back to, okay,
right. Yeah.
I got to make it to lap 33. I think about the only two people not saving any fuel here. Clearly, Michael Goodman is not. He's pulled out to an 0.8 of a second lead over Evan Clapper, so he started to break the draft. I don't think Clapper's probably saving anything, and I would bet you at least a shiny new dime that the car in fifth, the number 2 Lionel Callisto, he ain't saving anything either. Everybody else, I think everybody else has kind of settled into a rhythm. They're going to try to see if they can make it to that 33 lap mark. The question isn't the first stint in saving the fuel, Gary.
It's the last stint. Yeah, second or last one, depending on how they want to do it. You're right. No, you're right. It's not the first stint.
It's not the first one because everybody's on top of each other. But once you start seeing guys hit pit road, they're not going to be on top of each other anymore. They're going to be strung out groups of, you know, pairs, groups of 2 and 3 and 4. They're not going to be stacked on top of each other like this. And it's much harder in those smaller groups. We had a car coming off pit road. That is, say, hey, Lewis Hayes.
And he might be doing the 25, 25, 25, actually. Not sure why he went to pit road. I don't know if he hit the wall.
I didn't see him hit anything. I think this could just be, hey, I don't want to play the fuel game. I'm just gonna stop. Lap 20 is a nice even number. It leaves you with 3 more.
And look at those new tires as he goes right underneath Big John. Nice sponsorship on the tailgate there of not tailgate, but the rear bumper of Say Hey Lewis Hayes.
They call that a television panel in stock cars.
Not sure where the lag is coming from. We have not dropped any frames, and we're upload speed is really, really good. So there have been issues with there's been issues going into the weekend with iRacing. I'm understanding there was a DDoS attack, denial of service attack on
there were several
Friday night and Saturday, and that really messed with our coverage of the ISS.
Yeah, there were several of those. I know a lot of people are getting dropped out of races.
Here comes Greg Evans. He has broken away from that second group and is now cut into Goodman's lead now by, it was 0.8. Now it's 0.3, so he bit into it by a half a second.
Speaking of coming, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, last lap, 40.747. The leader, Michael Goodman, 42.187. So Say Hey Lewis Hayes, almost a second and a half quicker than the leader. He is going to gobble them up in pretty short order. Ooh, just nudges into Sam Crow as they head off into 3. But Say Hey Lewis Hayes is going to unlap himself in 5 laps. And then when things all shake out here, he's going to be the leader. He's going to be the leader. He lost exactly 1 lap.
Nice aggressive pass underneath Stretch there. And then clears Callisto going in down the backstretch at a 2. So he is just continuing to pull. And now we see Evans all over the back of Goodman now. And here comes Hayes to unlap himself after its pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to get while the getting's good. 1.3 seconds quicker that last time by, and he's just going to use
Hayes
those.
On the high side. Yeah. Oh, contact!
How did Greg Evans save the car? Is he going to save it? Hold on to her, Greg. He saved it.
Wow.
Give that man. Somebody go down there and give Greg Evans a ham sandwich and a cold refreshment. That was amazing. And nothing anybody did wrong. They had say, hey, Lewis Hayes going around the top, and they knocked doors. And somehow both of them, both Greg Evans and Michael Goodman, saved the race cars. Their tires are not going to be happy on the 7. The glitch where you're going through the grass cooled them off is no longer there. And so he's going to have 4 angry Goodyears. Meanwhile, say, hey, Lewis Hayes is gone. Last lap again, 1.3 seconds quicker than leader. And it becomes a question of, if he's going to get 6 or 7 laps of that, it may be worth it to do what he's doing, which is short pit and just go for broke. We'll have to see how this all shakes out, but he may very well, he may very well come out of here with a significant lead.
Well, we do have a new leader. Callisto is a leader after that little exchange there. Guys had to get off the pedal, and other guys stayed on it, and Callisto is one of those. Now, Callisto is your leader here at lap now, starting 27 going into 28. Armstrong moved him up to 7. Clapper is now 3rd. Goodman back to 4th. His tires might be a little overheated, not as much as Evans. Evans is getting things collected, and he seems to be, I don't know if there's red mist going on here, but he's aggressively already passing cars down the backstretch to move himself now up into the top 10 around Richie Hearn. And now he's looking at the backside of Matt Wagner and his Mustang, and he's going to try to make a move on him down the front stretch.
Yes, he is. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the battle for the lead. Lionel Callisto and Stretch Armstrong, 1st and 2nd. And then you got 8/10 back to
Clapper.
7/8 back to Clapper. But there's a pretty good battle brewing for the lead here. Callisto not known for being easy on the tires. We've seen him slide that car around. Well, every track we've been to. So how much has he abused that right rear, and how much can Stretch Armstrong capitalize on that? Meanwhile, Michael Goodman going underneath Evan Clapper to see if he can't reclaim 3rd spot. Not going to be able to pull him down the straightaway. Meanwhile, the front 2 continue to draw away a little bit. They're now 1.3 seconds ahead of Clapper. As long as Clapper and Goodman and them guys battle, Callisto and Stretch, I think, are content to just slink away here. And speaking of slinking away, say, hey, Lewis Hayes still 1.2 and change quicker a lap than Callisto and Armstrong and company. So he is absolutely the quickest car on the speedway at this point.
And now we are getting quickly to where the 2-stop window will open. So it's going to be either lap 33, well, 33 for sure will be window, but 34 will definitely mean that you could definitely make it on one more stop after that.
It's very true, and that's the thing, right? If you can make it to 34, anything you got to make it to 33. You have to make 33.
Yeah.
34 is better, and anything after that is a bonus. Because if you can make it to 35 or 36, say, then you can run 34, and you can run 30 flat out. That just means you can run that much harder when the money's up. And so
Evans on the low side of Goodman. This is championship and race winning implications right here. As we move Evans now up to 6th, Goodman back to 7th. Goodman, first time all day, really, Goodman's been in traffic, with the exception of, Graydon into the wall coming off a 2. Cost him a little momentum. Goodman started, where did he start? He started 2nd. But he was in the traffic just for a little bit, got to the lead, and now this is as deep in traffic as he's been marred all day, and it's probably why his car is handling a little bit different, and he's like, screw it, I'm coming to pit road, along with everybody else, a lot of others. We got Graydon coming, we got Hearn coming, We got Big John also on pit road. Rick D, who was amongst the he is sporting a lot of damage on his right side. He's coming to pit road. So now we're going to watch where Say Hey Hayes. We're going to see Say Hey Lewis Hayes. We're going to see where he pops out now as these guys are done with their first pit stop. Here he comes down the front stretch. He knows it too. He's going to the apron trying to make this lap shorter.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's got to run that Camaro for broke. Stretch Armstrong is going to bring it to pit road. Everybody else behind him.
Callisto, I believe, also made that pit road as well. Hayes gets around everybody, so move Hayes up to 9th.
And who's on the bonus lap? Justin Kirby is going to stay out here.
Yeah, Justin, who finished on the podium in the last race for his debut, said his brother would be here with us this week. I don't see another Kirby, so unfortunately, solo action here for Justin. No teammate or brotherly help at all, and he is now our leader at lap 34. Does he come to pit road, or does he intend to go longer? I don't think you want to go too long. He's coming to pit road right now. Yeah, and that's gonna turn the lead over to Hayes.
Yep, and let's see what kind of margin there is. Now, of course, Hayes' tires are going to be a little bit off, so the cars behind him should be quicker. Watching Justin Kirby come.
So, do we expect to see Hayes then in another 10 laps, or do we expect him closer to 50?
I would expect him closer to 50. 45 to 50 would be the optimum. You don't want to pit too early because then, you're essentially losing your tire advantage if you do that. Right? If you're going to do the 4-stop or the 3-stop as opposed to the 2, you are absolutely going to run those things as hard as you can. And then as soon as the good is gone and as soon as the window opens, you want to stop.
All right, so Hayes to the lead. Callisto right now is now second as he as the pit stop cycled through. Armstrong third, who's right behind Hayes. Right behind Armstrong is our points leader, Goodman, and then Goodman cycles out in front of Evans. So that battle continues to ebb and flow. So that is your top 5. Crow is in 6th. Kirby is in 7th. Euler 8th. Clapper 9th. And Matty Wagner, the stock car ace, is in 10th. That is after round 1 of pit stops.
Now, what I'm looking at here is, you know how we had that big draft going?
Yes.
Earlier, we had everybody in line, and they were all kind of close to each other. That's not so anymore. There are now not. Say, hey, Lewis Hayes, all by himself. We know he's not worried about fuel. Lionel Callisto right behind him. He's one. And
there we see Callisto right. He's gaining on him.
Well, he is, but that's the tire.
That's going to be the tire. Yep.
It's going to be the tire advantage. Now, here's the thing: without the draft, Callisto is going to have to be. He's going to have to be rolling out of the throttle sooner. Same for Stretch Armstrong. Now, Michael Goodman does have the benefit of the draft. Greg Evans, probably does a little bit. Sam Crow does not. Justin Kirby does not. Although Justin Kirby went an extra lap over everybody, so he's not going to be as worried about fuel as opposed to everybody else. Jake Euler, he stopped at 32, correct? 31, 32, something
Jake
like
Euler at 31. So Say Hayes is credited that lap 21 coming to pit road. He crossed the start finish line after he took the stop, so he goes at 22 at that point. But Callisto at 33, Armstrong at 34, Goodman at 33, Evans at 34, Crow at 34, Kirby at 35, Euler at 31, Clapper at 34. And here is a pass for the lead.
So if you're Justin Kirby, you might want to consider bailing out of that 2-stopper now. He's going to need some caution, or he's going to have to pit for a splash at the end. Everybody else, you got to start thinking about, okay, how do I save fuel? How am I going to save it? How am I going to save enough? If you're not in a tight draft, you may not be able to save it. Lionel Callisto has gone around, say, hey, Lewis Hayes now, into the lead, and Hayes' tires clearly past their sell-by date. 18 laps in his current run. His goal, by the way, is going to be to stay somewhere ahead of the end of the pack, right? Remember when he pitted the first time, he pitted from last, did he not?
Yes.
So he pitted from last the first. So his goal was to stay as far forward as he can.
Right. In about another 10 more laps, we'd imagine. But he's lost one position. He's going to lose. And we are blinking for another reason. I'm not sure what's going on. But here comes Goodman. Goodman's going to get a position. Evans going to get a position. Looking in chats from Pepto Joe, he makes mention that Evans does not get the red mist. He is so level-headed and a good racer, too. Well, we've definitely seen that play out here in the last 4 out of the last 6 races, that's for sure. He made up a ton in the pits. He was in the back of the field after the ride through the infield. Yep, he actually pretty much went all the way to the back for the most part. And he passes who he was trying to pass last time when he ended up making the run through the infield. Here's Sam Crow around Hayes. So Hayes just needs to hang on for another 9 more laps, but can he hang on that long? He's going to have to.
Yeah, I mean he's made his bed. He's going to have to lay in it, kind of the same way with everybody now. If you've committed to the 2-stop, and you've made the 33, 34 laps, whatever, you're committed. Same with say Lewis Hayes. He's committed to doing it in 3, and he's done. He's not going to be able to change that now. He's just going to have to stand on the gas and hope for the best. But his goal, again, is just to make sure that when everything cycles around, right, he's in good shape. Now, the good news, if you can call it that, is he committed to it early. A lot of guys will kind of like try to split the difference. It was kind of my undoing at Road America in the VOR race.
Yeah.
Where I thought, okay, I can try to make it, and then I came up a lap short, or I was right on the number the first time, and then I was like, well, I'll try to do it again for another stint. And then when the fuel started coming up short, instead of just standing on a gas and letting it rip, I didn't. And so give credit to Hayes. He's committed to this, and he committed to it early. Right, he didn't try to split the difference. He didn't waver. I should take advantage of that. I should have just turned up the gas and gone to the front and said, all right, 38 laps or 48 laps or whatever it is, 10, 10, 10, 8. And that's kind of what Lewis is doing.
And battle for between Clapper and Hayes. Clapper gets around Hayes, moved Hayes back to 8th. A little further back, we got a heck of a pack right behind Wagner. Wagner leading a pack of Graydon, Euler, Hearn, and the host with the most, Rigney. They're all trying to hit a number, I'm pretty sure, at this point.
They are. Now, this is going to be the only time that Lewis Hayes is going to be the disadvantage on tires. If he pits at 50, he's going to have the advantage for 13 laps. And then the other guys are going to have the advantage for 9, but then he's going to have it for the entire final 25.
Yeah.
And so this thing is going to, it interests me. I'm glad he did this because it's almost like the race between the tortoise and the hare, and we're going to have to sit around. We're going to sit around here for the next 56 laps and figure out who wins that race.
Big battle back here for the bottom portion of the top 10. Graydon, Hearn, Euler, Rigney, all in formation.
All right, window is open anytime for say Lewis Hayes now. Window is open anytime for him to make his stop.
Wagner getting around Hayes, so Hayes can maybe allow these next 4 cars by, and then maybe think about hitting pit road.
His only flaw in the strategy was I think he came a little bit too early the first time, so he's going to have to run longer this time. And maybe that was his hedge against the yellow, right? Like if he gets yellow now, he's still ahead of where he was. Would be my thought. Either way, he's going to run this thing. He's going to run it. He's going to need to run it out of gas, so he's going to need to stop at 50 and then just split it in half from there. Well, we've been talking about Say Hey Lewis Hayes, and we should talk about Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Greg Evans is edging up in the back end of Lionel Clisto.
Well, and he's bringing Stretch Armstrong right with him.
Yes, he is. He has chopped that gap. At one point, it was as much as 3 seconds. It is now 1.2 seconds. He's closing him down by a couple of tenths a lap. And so, that's going to be a battle here fairly shortly, I would imagine.
And I don't hear any fuel saving coming out of Greg. He's all in it. He's well into the gas into turn one.
Well, and maybe, and I just have to say maybe, right? He realized that without the draft and having to drive as hard as he could to get back up there, maybe he now realizes he can't really make the fuel save either. That makes sense.
True.
You've got, you don't have, these cars don't have fuel gauges per se. So there's no readout on the dash that says you have 9.34 gallons left. What they do have is the iRacing black box, which is a very rudimentary way to figure your fuel. And you also have third-party apps like Crew Chief, Race Labs that are much better at calculating your fuel. So I would assume that everybody in this field is using something similar to one of those two third-party apps. The iRacing Black Box, it's a good estimate, but it's not really all that accurate. Things like Race Labs will tell you exactly how much fuel you need, down to the 10th of a gallon, which is honestly a lot more accurate than the fuel filler can be in this car. You didn't know that. You can only fill these cars in like 1.8 gallon increments, I think.
Yeah, and it's all gravity fed, and that just doesn't make it go any faster.
No, but it does. I mean, you'll want to know those things for like final stops, flash and goes, things of that nature, because it takes time. And certainly, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, if I were him, and of course I'm not him, but I would know how much gas it's going to need for me to go 25 laps, right? And I'm not going to put another gallon in. I mean, I don't think it's that much of a gamble to say that we're probably not going to have a caution unless something wild happens.
True.
Say Hey Lewis Hayes, 30 laps in his run now, approaching a lap. We're on lap 51. Expect the 38 on the pit lane at any moment as he falls in behind Big John Von Barros, back down to 14.
50 of 100. We're past the halfway point. Watching a battle back here between Graydon, Hearn, and Rigney. This is for 10th in the standings. And another battle on the racetrack. We're starting to formulate a little bit of a battle right now. Is Goodman and Crow. This is a battle for first and second in the championship.
Yeah, and I think old Sam Crow would like to get by Goodman here. Championship implications in honor of Dylan Moskowitz. Championship implications there, 4th and 5th. But, you want to, anytime you can pass a rival like that, in a championship, it's a good time for you. It's a nice morale boost, and so I'm sure Sam would like to get by the 28. I'm sure that Michael Goodman would like to get up there and do battle with these front three. Because Stretch Armstrong and Greg Evans have now caught Lionel Clisto, and they are right.
Let's get on that battle.
Yeah, as Keith Jackson would say, right up the tailpipe of Lionel Clisto.
Mercy.
Go listen to that if you haven't done so, everybody out there. If you haven't done so, if you want to hear something classic, go watch the 1990 ABC.
Callisto is loose. You can see him going through 3 and 4. The back end just kind of wanted to come around. Evans going to get a good run. That cost him some momentum. Evans going to down low into 1. Probably going to get the position here.
Lionel Callisto's loose. Now say it ain't so.
Oh, no. Let's get a better look from, let's get on the nose of Armstrong. Watch this.
Now, we know the speed of Lionel Callisto's hands because we've watched it, but that's absolutely amazing. He's able to catch that race car.
We see
because they
come around there. Ah, they're right there. You saw the corner exit of 4. Exit of corner 4. Well, a little bit more of the side of the car than you were expecting to see.
Now, I'll say this. If Lionel Callisto ever races a car in real life, I hope he's one of those guys that wears white gloves. Because Lionel Callisto with white gloves.
Oh, and I think Stretch might have thought something was happening there. He gave a little bit of extra room. Again, another blink. Again, not sure of the lag or what's going on, if that's an iRacing thing. I'm checking my numbers. I've got some pretty healthy stream numbers, so I don't think that is us. I think that might be iRacing tonight. Back in while we're watching this battle, there's another battle brewing in 9th, 10th, and 11th. They're all really close to one another.
And we've covered that and kind of talked about that. You and I have in the past about guys blinking and different things and what that does. If the server is indeed soft, now I have not seen a blink on my screen, so but that doesn't mean that the server isn't soft. And when you say a soft server, you mean that everybody is getting connections at different rates. Most of these guys.
And Lewis Hayes pitted, by the way. He pitted on lap 53.
Yes, he did. Now, Richie Hearn's cat notwithstanding, most of these guys have very, very, very good.
3 wide down the backstretch. Sorry, here Rigney down low, Graydon in the middle, Wagner up top.
Richie Hearn going to make it 3 wide after they had made it through their 3 wide. Hearn on the bottom. That's going to be. Goodness gracious, the 3 of Brandon Graydon in the middle, the stock car ace on the top, and they all make it. But back to that blinking thing, like when the server is not as when the server is not as strong as it could be. You'll see guys kind of blink, or they'll do the Brazilian dipsy doodah across the track in front of you. So that, and to give guys some extra room. The best example I can think of is we had an IES race at California once like that, where everybody was blinking and the server went soft, and all of a sudden we all started wrecking. It's kind of like that. That. It's part of the hazard here, just like in real life. A blown engine or a cut tire would be a hazard. We don't have those things in iRacing, but we do have internet connection to play with, and it's a very real thing, and you have to be cognizant of it, and you have to account for it.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, speaking of it,
Richie Hearn in the wall off of 2. That's going to slow him down just enough for Hayes with the new tires to get a look on the low side and then pull this pass off. I'm going to take a real quick look. Now, one way to check and see the health of the servers and everything is if you go back to the standard overlay that they give you for iRacing, and you could check the entries and see everyone's ping speed. So Gallus, as you would expect, has a bad ping, and also Richie Hearn, as we know him, has a pretty bad ping. But these high numbers, or these numbers look pretty average to me, and tell me that it's not any of the participants that it's more of an iRacing issue rather than someone blinking specifically. Hearn almost again into the wall. 40 Raceway turning into the 40 demolitions of turn 2 barrier there.
What I'm looking at isn't necessarily the ping, although Callisto at 108, Grandin at 100, those guys a little bit higher than normal. So is Richie Hearn at 133. It's the quality, 99 instead of 100. That's the one that's the driver. That's where you start getting, they're not blinking, but they're kind of wiggling for you a little bit. That's the one thing that you might. And
another thing that you can always do, folks at home, is you just go to status.iracing.com, and that will bring you up all what kind of a dashboard of what the server status is globally for iRacing. I just checked that right now. They're all green, so I don't know. I still think it's something on the server side rather than the client side. But the 61 of 100, Greg Evans is your leader as he is around Callisto now by 0.5, 0.4 actually. Callisto is second. Armstrong is third. Kirby is fourth. Looking for a second back-to-back podium here, and Sam Crow is right with him. Goodman looks like he has just pitted. He pitted at 58, so he is going. He must have saw a little bit of what Say Lewis Hayes did and might want to try to copy it.
Well, or he knows. I mean, he was out there by himself for a good portion of that run, so he may know. Look, I can't make it anymore. Let's go ahead and just bail out now, rather than try to run it all the way. Michael Goodman, interestingly enough, I don't believe lost a lap.
No, he did not.
Now,
right. And Lewis Hayes is one lap down, but he's kind of catching everybody at the moment, and he'll get back on the lead lap when we cycle through. Actually, he won't be the leader. He'll be behind Michael Goodman.
Right, but he's doing what he can do here.
Looking on the high side over Crow, passing him like he's standing still. Here comes Kirby. Cuts to the low side, down on Kirby to start finish line. Kirby not going to fight him much. No matter. It doesn't really matter for Kirby to kind of hold up. Kirby's on an own strategy of his own. So when do we expect Evans to pit? He pitted at 34. Do we expect him in about another 12 laps from now, right about 75, and then push all the way home?
Well, he stopped at 34, so the math would...
Yeah, at 34. So 34 times 2 would about... It'd be right about... Yeah, it'd be right about 75-ish, I would imagine. I picked an even number, but... Or kind of a round number as it relates to 100.
34 times 2.
Yeah, it's...
No, I went to Ball State.
I know. You explain the Ball State every week.
So you're somewhere around 67, 68 would be my guess. Would be my guess. Now, if somebody can push it to 70, that would be...
I think he might shoot for 70. It's only 2 more laps.
Yeah, Justin Kirby pretty much has that wrapped up. He's got 1 lap in the bag over everybody else. Jake Euler has just pitted, as has Brian Grandin. So those guys clearly not going to make it, and they're bailing out. Kirby might be in the catbird seat because he has that extra lap.
Mm-hmm.
He has that extra lap, and so if he can make it to 69, that means he's awfully close just to being able to go completely.
Big John pit road.
Yeah.
George Anzaldo checking in, says hi everyone. Has no more space on the hard drive. Could not take the update.
Ooh. Have to put the old.
Greg Evans on pit road too, by the way.
Have to put the old PC in the body and fender shop. That reminds me, I need to delete some telemetry files.
Yeah, that's got to look at all those replays you got and either upload them to the cloud or just finally part with them. So Kirby now is our leader at lap 66. So Crow, it's not Crow. Evans came in at 65, so he went about a lap longer. Or actually came in 3 laps sooner, which maybe it's a strategy call to just get it out of the way and it's less of a fill. Clapper is second. Wagner now cycles to third in this battle with, actually that's just a battle for racetrack position with Graydon. Graydon just stopped at 63. Crow on pit road now. There's Rigney hitting his stall right now. Kind of slides her in there. Misses the marks, has the back up. Going to cost him some time. Hugo Gallus on pit road.
Now that's a story. right? That's those little things all add up, and an extra second on pit road is huge on the racetrack. Sam Crow's going to rejoin the race. Looking now, any time for Justin Kirby, Evan Clapper, and guess who is still out the way? He's just pulled it onto pit road, win an extra lap over his competitors. Most of them. Stock car race, Matty Wagner is going to bring it to pit road. He pulls into his pit stall rather, nice and tidy. Hits his marks. Car goes up on the jacks. All eyes now have to be on Justin Kirby, and Evan Clapper.
Now Kirby coming off of 4, staying low, and coming to pit road.
Yep. So he's only got to do 31 laps. So I think Justin Kirby, based on what everybody else has done, he can now go pretty much as hard as he wants for the remainder of this.
All right. Well, watching him make the run down pit road to his stall. Needs to hit the marks there. Does.
That's going to turn the lead over to Michael Goodman. Now, Goodman, of course, will have one more stop. As will, I believe, Lionel Callisto. I think Callisto may have stopped a lap too early.
Callisto stopped at 65.
Yeah, we've seen guys do 34. There's only one person that's done 35, and that's Justin Kirby. So we'll see. Callisto is going to have to save a lot of fuel to make it to the end. One guy that's not going to have to save anything is Justin Kirby. He's going to blend back in 8th, I believe.
30 to go.
Now, I did go on board. I rode on board with Lionel Callisto there as Greg Evans goes down to the bottom and passes him for second. Callisto is not really saving anything. He's still going about as hard as that Chevrolet Camaro can go. Greg Evans slides on by for second. Evans 1 lap to the good on Callisto on fuel, but Lionel's not lifting early. He's not doing the classical things that you would expect of a guy who maybe looking to save some fuel. Wasn't really able to attach himself to the back of Greg Evans either to use the draft. So that's interesting. Although it does sound like Lionel Callisto is cutting the engine off in the corners. So he's pushing in the. Yeah, let's ride. I thought I heard that. He cut the motor off. He puts in the clutch.
There it is.
Yeah. He's putting in the clutch. He's rolling it down the center of the corner, turning the car back on, rolling back on it. And you can see he's not losing all that much time, to be honest, for having the engine shut off for what, quarter of the lap maybe. But that's the only other way you can save fuel, is the kill switch. Be interesting to see. I'm going to ride on board with Greg Evans and see what he's doing. I doubt he's that extreme. Yeah, Greg Evans not really saving anything. He's going to go by Michael Goodman here and take the lead.
All right.
And that's kind of to be expected. Now Goodman, if he's been out there 16 laps, so I would expect Goodman to stop at lap 80, right? He's made that decision that he's going to go for the extra stop. but he needs to get off these tires, right? Because he's almost a full second a lap slower than Greg Evans. He's half a second a lap slower than Lionel Callisto, and Lionel Callisto's cutting the engine off. He's cutting the engine off for most of the middle of the corner. So, Goodman's going to want to hit pit road here just about as quick as he can.
All right. Well, once again, if you're just joining us here, watching P1's coverage of round 10 of 14 of the ISRA Xfinity Series on FTN, coming to you from Michigan, where Greg Evans is our leader with about 25 to go. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. Also, don't forget your commentary team by sending a donation via our GoFundMe campaign. The link is in the description. We certainly would appreciate it. We do realize times are tough. Anything you give, of course, will be most appreciated. Watching our leader now, Greg Evans. 4 out of the last 6 races have been wins by him. Could we be looking at 5 out of the last 8? Here is your race summary for everything that's going on right now. Here's your top 5. Evans, Goodman, Callisto, Armstrong, and Crow. And your race summary. 25 to go, and again, a big 0 with cautions and caution laps here in this league. And 10 lead changes, which you wouldn't know it, but we have been having lead changes occurring.
Yeah, and really, my thought is going to be, when does Michael Goodman hit pit road? We're going to see Lionel Callisto, who is still cutting the motor off in the corners. Callisto is about ready to get back by Goodman here for second. So when does Michael Goodman blink and come take those new tires? Stretch Armstrong will inherit third, and then you've got a ways back to Sam Crow. Sam Crow 7 seconds off of the lead, 6.5, roughly 6.3 behind Stretch Armstrong, and then he's got a nice little buffer back to a wad of cars: Evan Clapper, Justin Kirby, Matt Wagner, Jake Euler, Richie Hernan, Mike Rigney.
Here's a battle position between Kirby and Clapper. It's going to move Kirby around Clapper into now the top 6. Can he get to Crow before this race is over? And the Crow's just right in front of him there.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get to Crow. The question isn't whether he's going to get to Crow. It's going to be, is he going to be able to catch like Armstrong and Evans and Goodman and those guys? Because they're what, 7 seconds off the lead, Gary?
Battle for position here. Bottom step of the podium, Armstrong and Goodman, and send Armstrong. He stretches himself now to third spot.
Yes, he does. In the meantime, Mike Rigney got around Richie Hearn.
Richie Hearn on pit road.
Yeah, so he's
stop.
That too.
Yes, final stop. He's going to put on the tires and Red Bull the rest of this race.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're talking about, right? The cars got spread out, and they got spread out. It's much more difficult to save fuel. That's, to me, what's most impressive about Justin Kirby is he was able to do the 34, 35 laps.
Kirby
on the
is
second
to Crow.
stint. Yeah, he's to Crow, but he was able to do it. He was able to do it on the second stint as well as the first. So he knows something that some of these other guys haven't quite mastered. We never did take the chance to ride on board with him, and of course,
let's do that right now. Right? We actually have the in-car view for Justin here.
No, I doubt you're going to hear much because he's going to be full chat.
He's racing right now, Crow, so he's trying to get a position.
Well, but he doesn't need to save anything anymore.
Nope.
Either. So he's going to be full chat. But
let's do a real quick with 20 to go through the field. Evans is your leader. Of course, one is, as we mentioned, 4 out of the last 6. Can he go 5 out of the last 7? We shall see. Can he make this last 20 with no other surprises, no cautions? I would say right now he is sitting pretty good. Callisto is second. Callisto is trying to save some fuel, and he has worked his way up in the second here, but he's not gaining on the leader at the moment. He's 3.4 seconds behind Evans. Stretch Armstrong, your pole sitter, he started third, or he started on the pole, is third, and that is your top three on the podium right now. Michael Goodman, your points leader on pit road. Final stop for Goodman. Move Kirby up the fourth now. Clapper is fifth. Crow is sixth. Does Crow need to stop again? No, I don't think he does.
No, I don't think
he
so.
Went to 67. He might. So this has championship implications on it. Goodman really needs to hustle coming out and try to run really hard this last stint, because what happens now is I think we're seeing a change in the top of the championship between Crow and Goodman, with Crow on a little bit of a different fuel mileage strategy, is now sixth. And is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positions better than Goodman.
Yeah, so Evans, I don't think Lionel Callisto can make it. Evans, Armstrong, those guys are going to be marginal. Now I'm riding with Greg Evans. He's not cutting the car off like Lionel Callisto is. But those guys are going to be marginal. They might have to clutch and coast the last lap, which is going to open it up for Justin Kirby. And Justin Kirby is coming. He was 2.2 seconds a lap quicker 2 times around than Stretch Armstrong. 1.3 seconds quicker that last time. He is rapidly catching Armstrong and Callisto. Now about the same speed as Greg Evans. And he's also 11 seconds behind Evans. But Kirby is coming.
And he has a little bit of traffic in front of him, and it's going to kind of aid him with a little bit of a punch in a hole in the air of Richie Hearn.
Yes, it is.
$16 to go. Make sure to join us tomorrow night on ERN for our signature broadcast. And that is the IndyCar Oval Series Top Split, coming to you from the old version of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Coverage starts 8:15 p.m. Eastern, and that's over on the ERN, Elite Racing Network.
Now, Gary, that was a track that did not need to be fixed. Michael Goodman goes by Greg Evans and did on a lap himself. He's got Hugo Gallas outside the windshield. But that was a track that didn't need to be fixed, Atlanta.
No.
Just such an awesome track, even for open wheel cars. If memory serves, before they tore it up and redid it for the meme track, Atlanta had not been repaved since
it was rebuilt.
Yeah. And a shame. That track had, old, wore out. People don't realize Atlanta's basically in the foothills of the Smokies. Until the Colorado Rockies, the Atlanta Braves were actually the major league team that played at the highest elevation in baseball. But the soil, very much like Rockingham, very much like Darlington, where it's that gritty, sandy stuff. And that kind of, that reflects when you pave something, you use the local materials and it's real hard on tires. It ought to be a pretty good show for everybody that tunes that in. You're going to see comers, you're going to see goers, you're going to see guys saving gas. And a little birdie told me that you're going to have to see guys working the tools just to get through the quad oval on old tires. So that should be fun. That should be real fun. You can hear the excitement in my voice, can't you?
And then starting on Wednesday, we will have a little bit of a matinee race, our very first race on the P1 broadcasting channel, which will be, you can just search up youtube.com/ at P1 broadcasting. You can subscribe there. We're going to be running a little bit of a proof of concept race for some old friends of ours, but it's the E Grand Prix series. and they are doing a Hypercar Sprint Series, a 3-race schedule starting at Portimao on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We will have that. That's just a 45-minute sprint race. You want to check that out if you enjoy the hypercars. That'll be the inaugural race on P1's channel. And then Saturday, right before the guys do it for real at Iowa, we will race at Iowa in the IIS at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Now, I'm looking forward to that. I will not pit early in that race, I guarantee you.
And that'll be on ERN, by the way.
Absolutely looking forward to that. It'll be good fun. Greg Evans' lead has shrunk. It's now 5 seconds over Lionel Clisto.
He's with traffic right now. We're watching Evans and Hugo.
Well, I think what's happening here is Evans sees a car that he can draft off of.
11 to go, now 10 to go. Hugo goes high.
Yeah, you see how, I was going to say, Evans is almost deliberately not passing him. He had the run. He was all the way even with Galez. And now he finally makes that pass going down the backstretch. But Greg Evans deliberately staying behind Hugo Galez to use the draft and save some fuel. And I think the reason he made that pass is he's got another car ahead of him kind of to break that air. Now,
all right, here's a battle coming up right now. Not to cut you off, Armstrong and Kirby, 4 tenths separate these two now. This is for the bottom step on the podium, 10 to go.
Yeah, and Kirby continues to come. But what I meant to say was, Greg Evans feels safe making that pass because he's got Rick Deed just up the road, so he's got somebody else to break the wind, help him save some fuel. Meanwhile, the guy that doesn't need to save any fuel, that's Justin Kirby, has made it to the back bumper of Stretch Armstrong, and Kirby's got 3 laps of fuel in hand over Armstrong. So that would kind of, to me, indicate that this is just a matter of time. Because Armstrong would have to make it 34 laps on this one. Awfully tough to do since he hasn't had a draft for a while. He's going to be one of those guys that's very marginal. Kirby, not marginal at all.
Watching them on the 18 degree of banking here. Michigan International Raceway, or Michigan International Speedway, excuse me.
I was kind of surprised that Mike didn't do the old bumpy version of Michigan for this one, just to add a little bit of additional fun to these proceedings. As many of you may
watching Kirby get a little loose off of 4, watching out the back bumper of Armstrong at the moment. Watching Kirby get closer and closer and closer. As he stalled out, is he able to get there? He dives in the 1, getting closer. 8 to go. Evans, your leader, by 6 seconds. Now 7 seconds over Callisto.
Now, we don't see Armstrong and Callisto's car stepping out, and that's because they're rolling back into the throttle very, very gingerly, trying to save every ounce of petrol they can. We're seeing Kirby kick it sideways because he's got the fuel to burn. He doesn't really, I don't want to say he doesn't care, but he's not as interested in being ginger with the throttle at this point. He can kind of throw that car around, slide it around, and staying on the gas. And to be fair,
here he comes. He's there. Trying to look underneath off the corner exit of 2. Right behind him, they're 3 wide. Part of that is Richie Hearn, and I think Lewis Hayes is involved in that one. Well, it's Jake Euler and Hayes.
And that is 4 position, by the way.
Yes. Here comes a really fast car on the outside. That's a 15. That's Euler, who just stopped. He stopped on 88.
Yeah, he's got 6 lap old tires, so he's going to go right on by these guys, and Justin Kirby going to try to follow him through topside. Can't quite yet figure a way around Pat Armstrong for 3rd. But again, I would think with the fuel situation, it's only a matter of time. The other thing is he's probably forcing Stretch to run a little bit harder than he wants to at this point.
Where did he decide to go? Turns 3. Does he go high? Stretch moves high. Kind of floats high now on the exit. Kirby underneath. Down the front straight at the start-finish line. The position is still Armstrong's, but it's not going to be much longer. In the 1, move Kirby up to 3rd, looking at his 2nd straight podium to start his career in the ISRA.
Yeah, I mean, great job for Justin Kirby. You kind of saw that coming. Stretch Armstrong really, he's kind of, Pat's kind of defenseless going in the corner. He's got to roll out of the gas.
5 to go.
Early. He's got to roll out of the gas so early.
Now, can Kirby catch Callisto with Callisto having to save?
He's half a second a lap quicker that time. So
3 seconds, 3.5 seconds is the interval.
Yeah, he's coming. Greg Evans on pit road.
Whoa.
Greg Evans has surrendered the lead and come to pit lane. I did not see that car go up on the jacks.
No,
so
I did not see it, but I did not see that stop coming either, to be honest with you. That leaves Callisto. Can Callisto now make it through these last 4 laps? And we know he's conserving, and we know Kirby's not. Can Kirby catch him with these last 8 miles to go, coming now to 6 miles to go?
Why does Michigan always come down to a fuel save?
Nice, big, wide racetrack. It's not people wrecking into each other.
I feel like I've seen Harry Gant pull this before.
There goes a 15 around Callisto. Imagine Callisto probably wants to use a little bit of the draft, but the 15 is so much faster than he is right now. He just instantly pulls away.
He's not worried about it. He's still shutting the car off in the middle of the corner. He's getting down into where the car sets down in the corner, and he's shutting it off. That time he shut it off even on entry into turn 3. So Lionel Callisto is really babying that 2 car, trying to get it home. And Justin Kirby is just coming. Kirby now 2.6 seconds back of Lionel Callisto with 2 to go. It's so eerie, Gary, to hear him do that. You hear the roar of the big V8, and then it just stops.
Yeah,
it's almost. I have a hybrid. I have a Honda Accord hybrid, which, hilariously enough, is one of the favored vehicles of the IndyCar community here. I think myself, Chris Demerit, and there's like 3 or 4 other guys that have the same car, but it's almost like that.
White flag. Callisto won at the sister track in the opener. He is your defending Truck Series champion. 2 miles to go.
And here I was all show, saying, oh, that guy, Lionel Callisto, he's not saving anything. He's not saving tires. He's not saving gas. He is 1 mile away from one of the best fuel conservation victories that we've seen. And
but
Justin
here's Kirby.
Kirby
is there. Here they go into 3 and 4. Kirby getting a good run, coming in the middle of 3. He's got it cut down to 3/10. Got it to 2/10. Kirby's going to get him on the outside. It looks like he's out of gas. He's popping fire. Kirby with the win. Callisto struggles home, but he finishes 3rd. And Crow 4th. Or 3rd. So Kirby wins, Callisto 2nd, and Crow finishes 3rd. And I think that's going to move Sam Crow into the championship points lead.
Almost made it home. He only liked, 300 or 400 yards from making it. Yeah, it starts coughing off a 4, and it finally runs out right at pit entrance. Poor Lionel Callisto. What a valiant effort from Lionel there. Almost, but hats off to Justin Kirby. He saved the gas at the beginning so he could run hard at the end, and it paid off.
Here we go. Listening. He rolls out of it. Gets back in about as late as he can. And it just at corner 4, it just starts coughing. And there goes Kirby.
I thought he had it. He had saved so well for so long. And poor Lionel Callisto he's going to come home saying he is still coasting around. He's, I think he can't believe it almost. But what a valiant effort for Lionel. We'll have to congratulate him on that here when he gets into the booth for sure.
All right, let's get some replays queued up here. And let's get into the interview room as well, but let's get today's final standings in. Hide all these graphics. Here we go. Again, wishing I had a producer that could handle all this stuff for me, and I said, God, just read the final standings. Don't have to worry about anything. Here we go.
No worries, Gary.
All right, let's get the results in here.
All right, so your winner, the number 57, Justin Kirby, he starts. Goodness gracious, he starts 4th. He does the 2-stopper. He leads 7 laps, but the most important 7. Second, Lionel Callisto. He makes up 11 spots. He also does 2 stops. He leads 26 laps. I believe that is 3rd most on the day. Sam Crow rounds out your podium. He makes up 8. Evan Clapper 4th. Matt Wagner, the stock car ace. He'll come home 5th from the back.
Good finish for him. Very good.
Yeah. Stretch Armstrong 6th. Mike Rigney 7th. Michael Goodman dropped 6 spots with that splash of gas at the end. He led for 28 circuits. Greg Evans led the most laps, 34. He'll finish 9th. Big John Bombarellas will round out your top 10. 11th, Brian Grandin. 12th, Jake Oilers. 13th, Hugo Gallows. 14th, Rick D. We'd be remiss if we did not mention that Richie Hearn ran the fastest lap of the race. He'll come home 15th. Hey Lewis Hayes 16th on the 3-stopper. And Pepto Joe did not take the start due to computer issues. He'll be credited with 17th tonight.
All right, and let's find Sam Crow. I mean, he every time we bring him into the booth, he's like shocked he's there. I think he's sandbagging us. I'm not sure. Maybe he's the hustler out of all this one. But we'll bring him up. And here he is once again. I was telling everybody, Sam, that you always act you're very surprised to make it into the interview room here after one of these races. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how I'm doing it. But I think we decided that you're just hustling everybody. You're just biding your time, and then bam, here comes a knockout shot from Sam Crow.
It's insanity. That's all it is. It's just insanity. Because there's no way. There's just no way. I just backed into this one, guys. I just saved fuel. That's all. That's all it was. Just save fuel the whole race.
Murph.
I had no speed for the quick runs, and so I just decided just to try and save as much fuel as I could, considering that we were in that 5 to 8 lap window where we might need fuel. So I figured I could save, and I did. I ran out a couple of 100 yards from the start finish line.
You sound a lot like me, Sam. Every time I tell Gary I don't have any speed and I'm not going to run good, I usually wind up on the podium. And every time I say, every time I tell Gary, man, I got a real hot rod tonight, I wind up in the back. So, heck of a run for you, Sam. Great job saving the fuel.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
What was your technique? So we saw guys shutting it off. We saw guys rolling, just lifting way early. Saw guys using the draft.
Yeah.
What was your secret?
I don't use a clutch, so there's a lot of guys that have perfected that to save fuel, and I just never have been able to do that. My ECCIs are just a 2-pedal set, so I was just letting off extremely early. The last 25 laps, I never matted the throttle. I never matted the throttle the entire last 25 laps. So even racing Evan there at the end, I still didn't mat the throttle. He had a little bit of trouble, so I was
Nice.
able to get around him. I just
Nice,
needed
nice,
to.
nice.
I needed not to mat the throttle in
Needed
order
not
to
to.
save that kind of fuel.
Well, that's a brilliant, just a brilliant run. I think a lot of people were in the same shoes you were. They just didn't have speed here on the 2 mile oval for whatever reason, and they went back into fuel saving. And for some it worked, and for some it didn't. And it sounds to me you have the Scott Dixon foot that you have attached to yourself. So congratulations on that.
Which is real surprising considering it's a size 15. So
that means you can hold more fuel than the average foot.
I know you guys think I'm hustling, but honestly, I'm just thrilled to be here. I am. I'm shocked for a third tonight, honestly.
And well, we think, and we thought this last week, we weren't really sure where you would pop out when the points were determined. But by virtue of finishing third and Goodman finishing eighth, I think there's enough of the difference in points there that there's a good chance that you are the points leader. We're waiting for the points to be updated, but once again, we think you are the points leader going into the next race here at Vegas. So maybe next week is a good week to gamble, possibly, or are we just going to stay conservative and just bring the car home?
When the season started, I had resolved myself to show up, support Mike in the league, and I really just wanted to be consistent and just run my race and not get caught up in the hype of racing. And, I told you a couple of weeks ago how intimidated I was here with, the talent that's here. And so I didn't want to get so caught up in that intimidation that I wasn't going to enjoy it. So I just resolved that I was going to run my race and just enjoy the time that I had here and just be consistent. And so far it's working for me. I have no expectations when I show up so that I have nothing but joy when I leave. So.
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone want to say hi to before we let you go?
Oh, absolutely. We appreciate you guys here at the broadcast and what you're doing. And thank you so much for the encouragement that you give me when these opportunities arise and I can come talk to you. Congratulations to Justin. I've been racing with Justin for a long time. It's nice to be on the track with him again. And Lionel having a good finish tonight as well. Glad to see Lionel back. Appreciate all the guys. Of course, my own STEM lab on the side of the car, Go STEM Lab, and several cars that are painted by me here in the field. And of course, my teammates, Greg, Pat, Rick, Lewis, John, Mike Rigney. I appreciate all of them. The rest of the guys in the field, man, are just fantastic. I love this league, and I'm having a ball.
Everything but a win so far this season. But you know what? It doesn't matter if you win win a race or not. It just matters how you finish the championship. And I know a lot of people weren't happy when Kenseth, had one win and won the championship. But I even go back further than that. Tom Sneva won the 1978 USAC IndyCar Championship with no wins at all. And granted, that same season,
Matt Crafton won a truck championship the same way.
It might be. And granted, during that 78 season, Alan Senior won the IndyCar Triple Crown, the only driver to ever do that, and he lost the championship by winning 3 of the biggest races.
Wow!
So we might be on the verge of seeing something very, very special here. So we will continue to watch and continue to silently root for the old crow, as he is now possibly perched atop the standings here in the ISRA Xfinity Series with just a handful of races to go.
Well, just write it down, boys. No expectations, leave with joy. That's all I got.
I have a little sticker next to my monitor that says it's just a game sometimes too.
just keep going fast and having fun, Sam.
That's it. Exactly.
So much, Mark. That's the goal, and you guys have added such flavor to all this. I appreciate you. You do a great job with the broadcast. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks a lot. We will catch you at the next one, sir. Congrats on another podium.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let's bring up Lionel Callisto here. Hey, Lionel, got you here in the booth with Gary and Mark. Another quarter of a gallon probably would have brought you home. That was an outstanding attempt at a fuel save. We give you a standing ovation at that. It helps you overall in the points championship because you do, even despite not getting the win, you got a solid podium finish out of this race and have worked your way up now into on the verge of kind of being a contender in this championship. But it's got to sting just a little bit, does it?
Yeah, just a little bit. A little disappointed, but at the same time, I'm happy with the podium finish. I needed the points because I'm falling behind. I wish I would have started saving it a little earlier. I would have had an extra lap, and then maybe I would have had a chance to win it. But I mean, I did the best I can saving.
We heard you. We heard you hitting that clutch in the corners. We rode with you for a couple of laps. We're like, he might be able to do this.
Oh man, the moment I saw the 4 laps short, I'm like, oh no, I got to start saving now, like every single lap. And I was surprised I got it. Like I didn't think I was gonna make it, honestly.
Go ahead, Murph.
Yeah. So, what were you using for? We heard you shutting the car off and turning it back on. Were you using markers, or was that all by feel?
Entering the corner, like the markers, yeah, but like every time I'm lifting off, I'm just putting it in neutral, like the same way I'm driving normally, and like tapping the brakes or lifting off the gas. Anytime I enter the corner, I'll just go to neutral, and then the halfway of the corner, I'll start accelerating slowly up to speed.
Gotcha. Got any shout outs? Anybody you want to say hi to this evening?
Everybody that's involved in the league, the organizer, you guys in the booth, Gary, Mark, you guys doing a fantastic job, and yeah, everybody, thank you.
Well, good to see you back on the podium again after I think you missed a race here. Was it last week? But good to have you back, and good to see you give it a good run at the points championship here late into the season. So we'll see if you can go back to back for trucks and Xfinity with about 4 races left. Congrats, and we'll catch you at the next one, man.
Hey, thank you guys. See you later.
Heck yeah, nice run, man.
All right, and there is Justin Kirby. Let's bring him on up. And joining us now in the booth is today's winner, 2 for 2 in terms of how he started his ISRA career. 2 races, 2 podiums, but the important thing is second race, first win. Congratulations, sir. We noticed that you were going longer than everyone else. We saw you gaining on Callisto, but until he ran out of gas, we weren't really quite sure you were going to catch him. But when did you know that you were going to get this guy?
About middle of 3 and 4 last lap.
Wow.
Because I was like, I was banking on he was gonna be like splitting up that last run, try to utilize tires if he was gonna do anything. But I mean, I know he's only I only had like 2 or 3 laps on him. It's like there ain't no way he's gonna try to make it that long. sure enough, it's like he got me nervous. Like 2 laps to go, it's like, okay, I'm not really chunking him. Is he got it? And then once I saw his pace dropping off, is like, okay, we still have a chance.
Well, I would imagine that you were pretty happy to get that pass pulled off there right before the start-finish line. Murph, got any questions for Mr. Kirby here? Because I know we've been watching him all race long. We knew that he was making those stints 34 laps versus everyone else doing less than 34 laps.
We did. So in full disclosure, I came to Justin Kirby before the race and I said, "Hey man, what's the fuel window?" Because I didn't get a chance to do any testing due to some other commitments. So I asked Justin before the race. I said, "Man, what's the fuel window look like?" He said, 30, 31 laps. But I don't want to tell everybody what I'm doing. So race is over now, Justin. Tell us how you did 34, 35 laps in a stint to make that last one 31, so you could go full chat.
I've always been one, like, I don't really like keeping cards under the vest, because it's like I wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary. Like, I didn't hit the clutch pedal once all race. It's just kind of the way my driving style is when I'm looking after the right front is I'm kind of doing if like any of the old timers remember, kind of like how Kyle Petty used to run, like he would always be the easiest one into the corner.
Yep.
So all I'm doing is just I'm trying to keep that weight from rocking so hard onto the right front, especially when you're in a pack. It's like you got all that aero wash to worry about. That's why I was happy living on the bottom. Nobody else was running down there. So it's like, okay, cool. I got air on the nose. I could just rotate it and have more off throttle time than everybody else. And it just, I mean, it paid off in pace too, because it's like, I wasn't holding up or anything. Just that's the way my style is right now. It's just, it leans more towards, it happens to save more gas too.
Well, you were talking about last week your possibility of having a brother in the lineup, but we didn't see another Kirby out there. Maybe some brotherly help to help you next week when you to maybe even the odds at Las Vegas.
That is a very strong possibility. It was one of those things he wasn't feeling the greatest.
I understand that. Believe me,
he wanted to run, but he didn't want to affect anything because I mean it was a rough day and just kind of off
gotcha.
To the side, but
I understand. Yeah, for sure. Well,
but he's looking forward to run. It's going to be good once he gets here next season. Next full season we do. We'll be here.
All right. Well, that's I now with once you break through with the win, it kind of puts you in the category of a player here in this league. And even though you have a good number of races where you missed because you came in mid-season, a good run into the top 10 of the championship will bode well going into the next season, which will probably be trucks starting in August sometime. So we're just looking for the hot guys to keep a lookout on you. Once you start on a hot streak, it just kind of sticks here. So congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the fuel mileage. Saving it just like Scott Dixon does. You got any friends, family, sponsors, shout outs, anybody out there you want to say hi to?
Yeah, just want to say hi to the guys that with Black Magic, with my brother, the Ryan brothers, Trevor Hunt, those guys that, I mean, we've been running together now for about the last year and a half, 2 years. So JP Phillips, and a lot of what I'm carrying over here is what I learned with those guys over the last couple seasons over at the other league that we do. Just it's been a blast with them. And then, the guy that organizes the stuff over there, Scott Bolster, former Lionheart guy, and very familiar with a lot of the people here. So it's what I learned out there is really helping me here. And it's paying off. So I got to thank all of them for that.
Well, congrats on the first win. 2 races into your ISRA career, a podium and a win. Can't get much better than that. Congrats, and we will see you at the slot machines in Las Vegas.
All right. Thanks again, gentlemen.
No problem.
Heck yeah.
We'll just drag him down there to room 1 where everyone's kind of meeting. Okay, so first things first, Murph just added the numbers for the 100 laps here at Michigan. And we have now turned 1,374 laps this season in the Xfinity Series. And only 42 of those have been under caution, so we are now at 96.943% green flag running here in the league with let's see, this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th race out of 10 that have gone caution-free this season. And on top of that, we're moving to Vegas, which is another nice, big, wide racetrack.
Yeah, and Vegas is a little bit more drafty than this. In a truck, you can run Vegas flat out for about 20-25 laps. These cars you can't really go flat out, but it's going to be a little bit more packy. At the same time, it is extremely wide. It is extremely fast. And I look forward to an amazing show. I can once again not underline how much fun it is to watch a thinking person's racing league like this one. Justin Kirby won today, not because he was necessarily the fastest car. I think that has to go to, well, it doesn't go to anybody. Richie Hearn, we know he set the fastest lap. It didn't go to Greg Evans, who led the most laps. It went to Justin Kirby, who outthought everybody. He was able to save fuel early so he could go fast late. And he turned that go fast late into a win, and all credit to Justin Kirby for outthinking his competition this evening.
And complete ISRA totals, which includes trucks and Xfinity. 2,259 laps, only 86 done under cautions. 24 total cautions between the two leagues, 96.193% green flag racing between the two leagues. So, again, if this is your type of thing and you think that you have what it takes and the chops to also race with these guys and keep it clean and those numbers, you might want to check out the ISRA. This is invite only, so make sure that you get in touch with one of the admins, and we'll talk you through that, or they will talk you through that. I am not an admin. Points have been updated, and yes, we do have a change to the top, and we do have a new bird perched at the top. Sam Crow is at the top of the standings. He is now 353 points, 1 point better than Michael Goodman. He now has a lead with 4 races to go, as we are now going to, if you look at the schedule in the description, we're going to Vegas, not Nashville. That's going to be Darlington, then Homestead, then Talladega. Behind Goodman is only 6 points behind. That's Wagner with a solid top 5, and we doesn't get enough mentions today. I guess is this his birthday today?
Yes, yes.
And he
the
says,
stock car race.
And he says he needs 2 wings and more downforce. So that's an unfair advantage. You cannot have that.
The stock car race celebrated the 30th anniversary of his 12th birthday today. So happy birthday, Matty Wagner. Okay.
Very, very good. So he is third. Callisto, by just missing the win, now is 4th. He is 41 behind Wagner. So I really think, unless Callisto can get on a run here, which I believe he can here in the next 4 races, he could probably pull himself into becoming a player here. The stretch might be Rigney at the moment. He is 17 points behind Callisto. So Sam Crow is your leader, over by 1 point over Goodman, and 6 points, actually 7 points over Wagner. And then Wagner, that's your top 3. Wagner has a 41-point edge over Callisto and a 17-point edge over Rigney. Callisto has a 41 to Wagner, 17 to Rigney, and then, anyways. If you want to check it out, we'll have the points on the next race anyways. Also in the top 10, Hearn is 6th. Greg Evans has worked his way up to 7th. Joe Flanagan, unfortunately missing today because of heat issues, is still in the top 10, but he is now 8th. Lewis Hayes, 9th, and Rick D is 10th, rounding out the remainder of the top 10 here for the championship. Going to Vegas next. You already talked about it, and we already talked about today here at Michigan. So I think it's a perfect time, Mark, that we just wrap it up right here.
Absolutely.
So that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium here from Michigan, Sam Crow. Another race, another podium for now our new points leader. Lionel Callisto just missed out on getting a win here at the sister track from the track that he got the only win this season at, California. Missed it by about, half a front stretch, give or take. And Justin Kirby managed to go long on all of his stints, and that allowed him to have the deeper fuel tank, or at least the most full fuel tank at the end here when everyone was running out of fuel. Passes our leader in the last, 200 yards or so, and gets the win for his first win here in the ISRA. Join us again next week for round 11 in ISRA Xfinity Series. The teams and drivers head to another fast and wide track, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Coverage begins around 9:35 p.m. Eastern time. Again, it's 9:35 p.m. Eastern. As always, for the correct time in your area, you can find everything here on YouTube at youtube.com/@FTN Broadcasting. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support P1 and FTN with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know you thought of tonight's race, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. I want to thank all those that also participated in chat. Really make the interaction of these races much more entertaining. Thank you very much. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more P1s and FTN other iRacing programming, and they have a lot of it, including the VOR IR18 series, the VOR IndyCar series. That'll be on Saturday, and that's all here on FTN. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to miss out, so you don't miss out on the next race. Track cams today provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Thank you to Whiplash for being the official camera pack providers of P1 Broadcasting. To learn more about Whiplash, follow them on Twitter or like them on Facebook. The links are in the description. So for Mark Murphy, everyone here at P1FTN and the ISRA, I'm Gary Gonzo saying all good night. Thanks for watching, and to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here next week in Vegas for the next race of the ISRA Xfinity Series. Good night.